Hey guys, welcome to the clubhouse. I'm Billy Jackson, and today's review is going to be on The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Okay, now when I first saw the previews for this, man, I got super excited. I love Dracula stories, and man, it has been done hundreds of times. So when I saw the trailer to this, it looked different from other versions of Dracula. And then I started watching some of the reviews, because it's kind of the movie that you're not really sure about when you see the trailer. So I wanted to see what other people's opinions are. And some people were yes, and some people were no. So, was I yes or was I no on this movie? Yes! This movie was a lot of fun and great. I mean, I understand some gripes that some people had with this movie, but after watching it, I don't think they're justified in those opinions. I mean, this movie was great. Now, was it the greatest movie of the year, of all time, or anything like that? No. But I still had a lot of fun watching it. I felt tension the whole movie. And it was different than any other Dracula story that I've seen before. I mean, I'm sure this has been done before. It's just not a movie that I've seen, that portrayed Dracula in this fashion, where it's more of a monster movie than it is like a Dracula story. And from what I understand, this comes from Bram Stoker's Dracula's novel, and it's the captain's log in that book, which I've never read, but I've heard great things about. But I've never even known about this captain's log where they were shipping him from, place to place overseas, and it takes place in like 1897. And I didn't realize that this story even existed. So when I'm watching the movie, and some of the people were saying that, it's slow paced, and it takes a while to get there. I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like it got right to it, actually. The thing I like about this particular creature feature is that, it is kind of a man that's a creature at the same time. When he starts feeding on people, and he's only doing it a little bit at a time, and as he does, he gets bigger and stronger and more developed, because he starts off kind of looking like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. He's skulkily, gangly, and looks like an old man. And then by the end, he's like full-winged creature, monster. And I thought they did great with this movie. The character development was awesome. I actually cared about the characters in this movie, which always makes it better when, they're getting killed all the time, because you actually care about their deaths. And not a lot of movies do that well. I thought this movie did an excellent job in doing that. Now, I will say that some of the CGI is questionable, but it doesn't, take away from the movie. I didn't feel like it took me out of this. And that's a great thing, because sometimes when I see bad CGI or bad, special effects, it takes me out of it, and I kind of feel like they would have done better. But I felt like they used the CGI that was available to them, and they did it really well. But really, this movie is about the characters. More than it's about Dracula, it's about the characters dealing with Dracula. And that being said, they went places in this movie that I did not see coming, and I didn't expect them to do, and they did, and man, it hit me in the heartstrings. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you see this movie. But I couldn't believe it. And the performances were really good. The guy who played Davos in Game of Thrones, he's the captain of the ship, and he did a great job. I've never seen him. I've only seen him in Game of Thrones, so that's the only real, reference I have for him as an actor. And he did awesome in this, and I can't wait to see more of him. But really, there's not a real main character. They're kind of all main characters. So I was happy that the writing was good in this movie. Not just the acting and the directing and stuff like that, but the story itself I thought was unique. Even though Dracula's been done hundreds of times, this story, them being on a boat, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, no way to defeat this guy, and they are just getting picked off one by one, and in very gruesome ways at times. And the whole less is more aspect really worked for me in this film. And another thing, a lot of people I see are reviewing it, and saying they didn't like the end of this movie. I loved it. I thought it was a great ending, but it's kind of those endings that I kind of like. It's not very happy endings, because we get thousands of happy endings in movies and stuff, so I kind of like it when it happens kind of on a lower note and not so happy, but it could lead to other movies. So I'm really glad they did what they did. So I like the ending, even though I kind of feel like I'm in the minority right now. But it's not all about what I think. What do you think? Have you seen The Last Voyage of the Demeter? Do you plan on watching it? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. And as always, make yourself happy every day. And the only way to do that is to remember the only thing stopping you is you stopping. Bam!